Tommy Parker was 6 years old when his life changed forever. He lived on a big farm in Kansas with his mom and dad. His dad's name was David and his mom's name was Linda. They grew corn and wheat. Tommy loved the farm. He loved running through the fields. He loved catching bugs and looking at clouds. But most of all, he loved summer nights when the sky was full of stars. It was a warm night in July. Tommy was outside near the old red barn. His mom had told him to come inside before dark, but Tommy wanted to catch one more firefly. The little bugs were everywhere, blinking their lights like tiny stars that had fallen to earth. Tommy ran after them with a glass jar in his hand. He was so busy chasing fireflies that he almost missed it. A bright light streaked across the sky. It was not a shooting star. It was too big and too bright. It was silver, and it moved fast, leaving a trail of white smoke behind it. Tommy stopped running and looked up. His mouth fell open. The light went down, down, down. It disappeared behind the tall corn in the back field. Then Tommy heard a loud crash. The ground shook a little under his feet. Birds flew up from the trees, scared and crying out. Then everything went quiet. Tommy knew he should run home and tell his parents. That was the smart thing to do. But his feet would not move toward the house. Instead, they moved toward the cornfield. Something inside him wanted to know what had fallen from the sky. He had to see it. The corn was tall, much taller than Tommy. The leaves brushed against his face as he pushed through. It was dark between the rows, and Tommy felt a little scared. But he kept going. He could see a faint glow ahead, like someone had left a light on in the middle of the field. After a few minutes, Tommy came to a clearing. The corn had been flattened in a big circle. In the center of the circle was something Tommy had never seen before. It was a ship, but not like any ship he knew. It was small and round, made of smooth silver metal. Parts of it were broken and smoking. Strange symbols were carved into its side. Tommy walked closer, his heart beating fast. Then he saw something else. Someone was lying on the ground next to the ship. But it was not a person. Not a human person, anyway. The creature was tall and thin, with long arms and legs. Its skin was blue-gray and shiny, like the inside of a seashell. It had no hair. Its head was smooth and slightly larger than a human head. When it opened its eyes, Tommy gasped. The eyes were huge and dark, like deep pools of water that reflected the stars above. The creature was hurt. One of its arms was bent the wrong way. A strange liquid, silver like melted metal, was coming out of a wound on its side. It was breathing fast and making small sounds of pain. When it saw Tommy, fear filled its big eyes. It tried to move away but cried out in pain. Tommy did not run. He did not scream. He remembered what his mom always told him. She said that when someone is hurt, you help them. It does not matter who they are or where they come from. You help them because it is the right thing to do. Tommy put down his jar of fireflies. He walked slowly toward the creature, keeping his hands where it could see them. He did not want to scare it more than it already was. "It's okay," Tommy said in a soft voice. "I'm not going to hurt you. My name is Tommy. I want to help you." The creature watched him with those big, beautiful eyes. It did not understand his words, but it seemed to understand his voice. It stopped trying to move away. Its breathing slowed down a little. Tommy kneeled down next to it. Up close, he could see that the creature's skin had tiny patterns on it, like the scales on a fish but much smaller and more delicate. The silver blood was still flowing from its wound. Tommy did not know what to do about that, but he knew he needed to do something. He took off his jacket, a small blue thing his mom had made him wear even though the night was warm. He pressed it gently against the wound on the creature's side. The creature flinched but did not pull away. It looked at Tommy with something like surprise in its eyes. See? Tommy said. I told you I would help. You're going to be okay. I promise. The creature made a sound. It was soft and musical, like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Tommy did not know what it meant, but it sounded like thank you. Tommy looked around. He could not leave the creature here, but he also could not take it home. His parents would freak out. They might call the police or the army. They might take the creature away and do bad things to it. Tommy had seen movies about aliens. He knew what happened when adults found them. No. He had to keep this a secret. He had to help the creature himself. Okay, listen, Tommy said, even though he knew the creature could not understand him. I'm going to go home now, but I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'll bring food and water and bandages. I'll help you get better. But you have to stay hidden, okay? You have to stay in your ship and not let anyone see you. The creature watched him. It blinked its big eyes slowly. Tommy stood up. His jacket was stained with silver blood now. He would have to hide it somewhere. He looked at the creature one more time. It looked so alone, so scared, so far from home. Tommy knew how it felt to be scared. He had been scared of the dark when he was little. He had been scared on his first day of school. But he had always had his mom and dad to help him. This creature had no one. Just a broken ship in a strange world full of people who might not be kind. I'll come back, Tommy said again. I promise. Then he turned and ran back through the cornfield. The fireflies were still blinking in the night. The stars were still shining in the sky. But everything felt different now. Tommy had a secret. He had a friend from the stars who needed his help, and Tommy Parker was not going to let that friend down. The next morning, Tommy woke up before the sun. He lay in his bed and thought about what had happened last night. Part of him wondered if it was all a dream. Maybe he had fallen asleep in the cornfield and imagined the whole thing. But then he looked at the floor and saw his jacket. It was still stained with silver blood. It was real. It was all real. Tommy got dressed quickly and quietly. He went downstairs to the kitchen. His mom was not awake yet. His dad had already gone out to check on the farm equipment. Tommy opened the refrigerator and looked inside. He grabbed some apples, some bread, and a bottle of water. He put everything in his backpack. Then he found the first aid kit in the bathroom and took some bandages and medicine. He slipped out the back door and ran toward the cornfield. The morning air was cool and fresh. Birds were singing in the trees. Everything looked normal and peaceful. But Tommy knew that something amazing was hidden in those tall rows of corn when he reached the clearing. His heart jumped with relief. The creature was still there. It was sitting inside its broken ship, looking out at him with those big, dark eyes. It looked a little better than last night, but it was still clearly hurt. Tommy walked up to the ship slowly. The inside was full of strange machines and blinking lights. Some of them were broken. Some of them still worked. The creature watched Tommy carefully as he came closer. I brought you some stuff, Tommy said. He opened his backpack and showed the creature what was inside. Food and water. I don't know if you can eat our food, but I thought you might be hungry. The creature looked at the apple Tommy held out. It reached for it with its long, thin fingers. It turned the apple over and over, studying it. Then it brought it to its mouth and took a small bite. It chewed slowly. After a moment, it made that musical sound again, the one that sounded like wind chimes. Tommy smiled. You like it? That's good. Here, have some water too. Over the next few hours, Tommy cleaned the creature's wounds as best as he could. The silver blood had stopped flowing, which was a good sign. Tommy put bandages on the cuts and scrapes. The creature was very patient. It sat still and let Tommy work. Sometimes it would make soft sounds, almost like it was talking to itself. Tommy wished he could understand what the creature was saying. He had so many questions. Where did it come from? Why did it crash? Was it all alone, or were there others like it somewhere? Days passed, and then weeks. Tommy visited the creature every single day. He brought food and water. He brought books with pictures to try to communicate. He brought a blanket when the nights got colder. Slowly, the creature began to heal. One day, the creature showed Tommy something amazing. It had been working on a small device from its ship. When it pressed a button, the device glowed blue. The creature pointed at itself and made a sound. "Valen," it said. Tommy's eyes went wide. "Is that your name, Valen?" The creature nodded. It had been watching Tommy nod and had learned what it meant. "Valen," Tommy repeated, grinning. "I like it. I'm Tommy, remember?" "Tommy." Valen pointed at Tommy. "Tommy," it said. His voice was strange, like many voices speaking at once, but Tommy could understand the word clearly. After that, things got easier. The device Valen had fixed was some kind of translator. It was not perfect, and sometimes the words came out wrong or mixed up. But it let them talk to each other for real. Valen told Tommy about its home. It came from a planet very far away, so far that light from its sun took thousands of years to reach Earth. Its people had been watching Earth for a long time. They were curious about humans. They thought humans were interesting but also dangerous. They had seen humans fight wars and hurt each other. They were not sure if humans could be trusted, but Valen had always believed that humans had good inside them. It had wanted to come to Earth and see for itself. But its ship was attacked by enemies during the journey. It crashed on Tommy's farm while trying to escape. "I was scared," Valen admitted. "I thought the humans would hurt me. I thought they would be like the stories my people tell. But then you came, a small human child. And you were not scared of me. You helped me. You showed me kindness." Tommy felt his face get warm. "Well, yeah. You were hurt. My mom says you should always help people who are hurt." Valen made a sound that Tommy had learned was laughter. "Your mother is wise. Among my people, we have a saying. The size of a heart cannot be measured by the size of a body. You have a very big heart, Tommy Parker." Tommy spent hours with Valen every day. He told Valen about school and his friends and his favorite TV shows. Valen told Tommy about its planet, where the sky was purple and the trees sang songs when the wind blew. They became real friends, not just a human and an alien, but two beings who understood each other. One evening, as the sun was setting and painting the sky orange and pink, Valen looked at Tommy with serious eyes. "You saved my life," Valen said. "In my culture, this creates a bond. A debt that must be paid. I have thought long about what I could give you, and I have decided." Tommy tilted his head. "Give me? You don't have to give me anything. We're friends." "That is exactly why I must," Valen said. "Among my people, there is an ancient art. We call it the way of the bow. It is not just about shooting arrows. It is about finding peace inside yourself. It is about connecting your heart to your hands. It is about becoming the best version of who you are." Valen reached into the ship and pulled out something wrapped in cloth. It unwrapped it slowly, revealing a small bow made of a metal that seemed to glow with inner light. "I want to teach you this art, Tommy. I want to give you something that will stay with you forever. Something that will help you through all the hard times that life will bring. Will you let me teach you?" Tommy looked at the beautiful bow. He looked at Valen's kind eyes. He felt something stir in his chest, something that told him this was important. This was more than just learning to shoot arrows. This was something special. "Yes," Tommy said. "I want to learn." Valen smiled, and for the first time, Tommy saw real joy on the alien's face. "Then we begin tomorrow," Valen said. "And I promise you, young Tommy, By the time I'm done, you will be capable of things you cannot even imagine right now. The lessons began the very next day. Tommy arrived at the clearing just as the sun was coming up. The morning mist hung over the cornfield like a soft white blanket. Valen was waiting for him, standing tall and straight, despite the injuries that were still healing. The bow Valen had made was perfect for Tommy's small hands. It was light but strong, made from a metal that came from Valen's home world. The metal was special. Valen explained that it would grow as Tommy grew. It would always be the right size for him, always perfectly balanced. Before you shoot a single arrow, Valen said, you must learn to breathe. Tommy frowned. I already know how to breathe. I do it all the time. Valen made its laughing sound. You breathe to stay alive, but you do not breathe with purpose. Close your eyes, Tommy. Feel the air going into your body. Feel it filling your chest. Now, let it out slowly. Feel it leaving you, taking your worry and fear with it. Tommy tried. At first, it felt silly. He was just standing in a field with his eyes closed, breathing in and out. But after a few minutes, something changed. His mind got quieter. His body felt lighter. The sounds of the morning became clearer. He could hear birds singing far away. He could hear the corn rustling in the gentle wind. Good, Valen said softly. This is the first lesson. The bow is nothing without a calm mind. An arrow shot in anger will miss its target. An arrow shot in fear will fly crooked. Only an arrow shot from a place of peace will find its true path. They practiced breathing for a whole week. No arrows, no shooting, just breathing. Tommy's parents noticed that he seemed calmer at home. He did not fight with them about bedtime. He did not complain about doing chores. His mom said he was growing up. She did not know about the alien teacher in the cornfield. The second week, Valen taught Tommy about focus. They would sit in the clearing, and Valen would ask Tommy to pick a single leaf on a distant cornstalk. Tommy had to stare at that leaf without looking away. At first, his eyes would wander after just a few seconds. But slowly he got better. He could focus on one tiny thing for minutes at a time. Your people have a gift, Valen said one day. Humans feel things very deeply. You feel joy and sadness, love and anger, hope and fear. Most species in the universe are not like this. They are calm and logical. They do not feel as strongly as you do. Tommy picked at the grass. Is that bad? Many of my people think so, Valen admitted. They believe that strong feelings make you weak. They think emotions cloud your judgment and lead you to make mistakes. What do you think? Valen was quiet for a moment. I think they are wrong. I think your feelings are your greatest strength. The problem is not that you feel too much. The problem is that you do not know how to use those feelings. You let them control you instead of controlling them. But if you learn to channel your emotions, to direct them like water through a river, you can achieve things that other species cannot even dream of. In the third week, Tommy finally got to shoot arrows. But it was not what he expected. Valen did not put up a target. Instead, it told Tommy to shoot at nothing. Feel the bow in your hands, Valen said. Feel the string against your fingers. Pull it back and feel the tension. The bow wants to release. The arrow wants to fly. Your job is not to force them. Your job is to let them do what they want to do. Tommy pulled back the string. His arm shook a little. The bow was not heavy, but holding it took more strength than he thought. Now close your eyes, Valen said. Do not think about where the arrow will go. Just feel the moment. Feel the connection between you and the bow. When it feels right, let go. Tommy closed his eyes. He breathed slowly, the way Valen had taught him. He felt the bow in his hands. He felt the arrow waiting to fly. And then, without really deciding to, He let go. The arrow flew through the air with a soft whisper. Tommy opened his eyes and saw it stuck in a fence post 50 feet away. He had not been aiming at the fence post. He had not been aiming at anything. But somehow, the arrow had found a target anyway. "How did I do that?" Tommy asked, his voice full of wonder. "You did not do it," Valen said. "You allowed it to happen. That is the difference. When you stop trying to control everything, when you trust yourself and the bow, amazing things become possible." The summer went by fast. Every morning, Tommy would sneak out to practice with Valen. He learned to stand properly, with his feet solid on the ground. He learned to hold the bow steady, even when his arms were tired. He learned to breathe and focus and trust himself. Sometimes he got frustrated. His arrows would go wild. He would miss easy shots. He would get angry at himself and want to throw the bow on the ground. But Valen was always patient. "Failure is not the opposite of success," Valen would say. "Failure is part of success. Every missed shot teaches you something. Every mistake makes you stronger. Do not fear failure, Tommy. Embrace it." By the end of summer, Tommy could hit targets that seemed impossible. He could shoot an arrow through a ring swinging from a tree branch. He could hit a leaf falling from the sky. He could shoot 3 arrows in the time it took most people to shoot one. But more than that, Tommy had changed inside. He was calmer. He was more focused. He believed in himself in a way he never had before. The bow had taught him more than just how to shoot arrows. It had taught him who he could become. One evening, as the days were getting shorter and the nights were getting cooler, Valen told Tommy something that made his heart sink. "My ship is almost repaired," Valen said. "I have sent a message to my people. A rescue ship is coming. It will be here soon." Tommy felt tears in his eyes. He had known this day would come, but he was not ready for it. He was not ready to say goodbye. How soon? He asked, his voice small. Valen put a gentle hand on Tommy's shoulder. "A few more days. Maybe a week. But do not be sad, young friend. What I have given you will never leave. The way of the bow is inside you now. It is part of who you are. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you will carry these lessons with you." Tommy wiped his eyes. He looked at his bow, the beautiful gift that would grow with him forever. He looked at Valen, the friend who had come from the stars and changed his life. "Thank you," Tommy said. "For everything." Valen smiled. "No, Tommy, thank you. You showed me that my belief in humans was not wrong. You showed me that kindness exists in this world. That is a gift worth more than all the archery lessons in the universe." The week passed too quickly. Every day, Tommy spent as much time as he could with Valen. They practiced archery in the mornings. They talked in the afternoons. In the evenings, Valen told Tommy stories about its home world, about the purple skies and the singing trees, about the great cities that floated in the clouds and the oceans that glowed at night. Tommy tried to be happy. He tried to enjoy these last days with his friend. But there was a heaviness in his heart that would not go away. He had never had a friend like Valen before. He was not sure he would ever have a friend like this again. Valen's ship looked different now. When Tommy had first found it, it was broken and smoking, barely holding together. Now it was smooth and whole again. The silver metal gleamed in the sunlight. The strange symbols on its side pulsed with soft blue light. It was ready to fly. On the last night, Tommy came to the clearing after his parents had gone to sleep. The sky was clear and full of stars. The moon was bright and round. It was a perfect night for flying, Tommy thought. A perfect night for going home. Valen was standing outside the ship, waiting for him. In its hands was something wrapped in soft cloth. The alien's big eyes were filled with emotion that Tommy had learned to read over these weeks together. "I have something for you," Valen said. A final gift. Tommy watched as Valen unwrapped the cloth. Inside was a new bow. But this was not like the training bow Tommy had been using. This one was larger, more beautiful, made of metal that seemed to shift colors when it moved. In the handle was a small crystal that glowed with a soft purple light. This bow is made from the strongest metal in the universe, Valen explained. It will never break. It will never wear out. And like your training bow, it will grow with you. When you are a man, it will be a man's bow. When you are old, it will still serve you. Tommy reached out and took the bow. It was surprisingly light. When his fingers touched it, the crystal in the handle glowed brighter, as if it recognized him. The crystal is from my home world, Valen continued. It contains a small piece of our planet's heart. As long as you carry it, a part of me will always be with you. When you feel alone, hold the bow and think of me. You will feel my presence. Tommy's eyes filled with tears. He tried to blink them away, but they fell down his cheeks anyway. I don't want you to go, he said. Can't you stay? You could live here with us. My parents would understand eventually. I know they would. Valen knelt down so they were at the same height. It reached out and gently wiped the tears from Tommy's face. I wish I could stay, young friend. But I have a family too. I have people who are waiting for me, who miss me, who need me to come home. You understand that, don't you? Tommy nodded. He did understand. If he was lost somewhere far away, he would want to go home to his mom and dad too. It was selfish to ask Valen to stay, but knowing that did not make the pain any less. Will I ever see you again? Tommy asked. Valen was quiet for a moment. The universe is very big, Tommy, and life is full of surprises. I cannot promise we will meet again, but I can promise you this. Wherever I go, whatever happens, I will never forget you. You will always be my friend, and I will always be watching over you, even from far away. The sound came from the sky. Tommy looked up and saw lights moving among the stars. A ship, much bigger than Valen's, was coming down through the clouds. It made no noise, just a soft hum that Tommy could feel in his chest. It was the most beautiful thing Tommy had ever seen. My people are here, Valen said, standing up. It is time. Tommy threw his arms around Valen and hugged the alien tight. Valen's body was cool and smooth, but the hug was warm. They stayed like that for a long time, neither one wanting to let go. Remember what I taught you, Valen said softly. The bow is just a tool. Your true power comes from inside you. Your kindness, your courage, your heart. These are what make you special, Tommy Parker. Never let anyone make you forget that. I won't, Tommy promised. I'll practice every day. I'll make you proud. You already have, Valen said. From the first moment you chose to help me instead of run away, you made me proud. The big ship was hovering over the clearing now. A beam of light came down from it, bright and white like a piece of the sun. Valen walked toward the light, then turned back one last time. Goodbye, young friend. May your arrows always fly true. Goodbye, Valen. Thank you for everything. Valen stepped into the light. Tommy watched as his friend rose up into the sky, higher and higher, until the alien became just a small dark shape against the brightness. Then the light went out. The big ship turned and flew up toward the stars. In seconds, it was just another point of light in the sky. Then it was gone. Tommy stood alone in the flattened cornfield. The small ship was gone too, taken up with Valen. The only signs that anything had happened here were the broken corn stalks and the beautiful bow in Tommy's hands. He stayed there until the sun came up. He did not cry anymore. Instead, he felt something new growing inside him. A determination. A purpose. Valen had given him a gift, and Tommy was going to honor that gift. He was going to become the best archer in the world. He was going to show everyone what he could do. He was going to make Valen proud. When he walked back to the farmhouse, his parents were just waking up. They asked where he had been. He said he was just walking in the fields. They looked at the strange bow in his hands, but did not ask about it. Maybe they could see something different in their son's eyes. Maybe they knew that whatever had happened, it was something important. From that day on, Tommy practiced every morning before school. He practiced every evening after his chores were done. His parents thought it was just a hobby, a phase that would pass. But Tommy knew better. This was not a hobby. This was his life now. The bow felt like part of his body. When he drew the string, he could feel Valen's presence, just like the alien had promised. The crystal glowed softly in his grip, reminding him that somewhere among the stars, a friend was watching, and Tommy Parker kept his promise. He never forgot. He never gave up. Every arrow he shot was a tribute to the friend who had changed his life forever. 15 years had passed since that summer night when a small boy saved a stranger from the stars. Tommy Parker was not a little boy anymore. He was 21 years old, tall and strong, with steady hands and calm eyes. But inside, he was still the same person who had shown kindness to a wounded alien in a cornfield. The Olympic Stadium in Los Angeles was packed with thousands of people. The noise was incredible. People were cheering, shouting, waving flags from countries all over the world. Cameras flashed everywhere. Giant screens showed the faces of the athletes. This was the biggest archery competition in the world, and Tommy was in the final round. He stood at the shooting line, his bow in his hands. It was the same bow Valen had given him all those years ago. It had grown with him, just like Valen said it would. Now it was full-sized, a beautiful weapon that confused everyone who saw it. The metal was like nothing on Earth. The crystal in the handle glowed with soft purple light. Tournament officials had tested it many times. They could not find anything wrong with it. It was just a bow, they said. A strange bow, but just a bow. Tommy had wrapped leather around the handle to hide the crystal. He did not want too many questions. Some things were better kept secret. His opponent was a man from Germany named Klaus. Klaus was the defending Olympic champion. He had won gold 4 years ago and was expected to win again. He was tall and confident, with a perfect form that coaches around the world used as an example. Everyone thought he would beat Tommy easily, but Tommy was not worried. He had faced doubt his whole life. When he started competing as a teenager, people laughed at his unusual style. He held the bow differently than other archers. He closed his eyes before every shot. He breathed in a strange rhythm that no coach had ever taught. They said he would never win with techniques like that. They were wrong. Tommy had won every competition he entered in high school. He won the national championship when he was 18. He set records that people said were impossible. And now he was standing in the Olympic finals, one shot away from gold. The score was tied. Both Tommy and Klaus had shot perfect rounds. This last arrow would decide everything. Klaus shot first. The stadium went silent as he raised his bow. He drew the string back smoothly, took aim, and released. The arrow flew straight and true, hitting the target just slightly off-center. It was an excellent shot. The crowd cheered. Now it was Tommy's turn. He stepped up to the line. The target was 70 meters away, just a small circle of colors at the end of a long field. A slight wind was blowing from the left. Most archers would adjust their aim to account for it. Tommy did not. He raised his bow. He felt the familiar weight of it, the perfect balance that Valen had crafted. The crystal was warm against his palm, even through the leather wrap. He could feel the presence of his old friend. Just like always, the crowd fell silent again. Millions of people around the world were watching on television. Tommy's parents were in the stands, holding each other's hands. His mom was crying. His dad was trying not to. Tommy closed his eyes. He heard gasps from the crowd. Who closes their eyes before the most important shot of their life? It was crazy. It was impossible. It was exactly what Valen had taught him to do. In the darkness behind his eyelids, Tommy breathed. He felt the air filling his lungs. He felt his heartbeat slow down. He felt the bow in his hands, the string against his fingers, the arrow waiting to fly. The noise of the crowd faded away. The pressure of the moment disappeared. There was only Tommy, the bow, and the target. He did not aim. He did not calculate. He just felt the connection, the invisible line between his heart and the center of the target. When it felt right, when everything clicked into place like pieces of a puzzle, he let go. His eyes opened just in time to see the arrow fly. It cut through the air like a beam of light. It ignored the wind that should have pushed it off course. It flew straighter than any arrow had ever flown. And it hit the target dead center in the exact middle of the yellow circle. A perfect shot. A bullseye. The stadium exploded with noise. People jumped to their feet, screaming and cheering. Tommy's parents hugged each other, tears streaming down their faces. The giant screen showed Tommy's face, calm and peaceful, a small smile on his lips. He had done it. He had won the gold medal. But more than that, he had broken the world record. His score was the highest in Olympic history. Experts would study his shot for years, trying to understand how he had done it. How had he ignored the wind? How had he shot so perfectly with his eyes closed? It seemed impossible. It seemed like magic. Reporters surrounded Tommy after the medal ceremony. They pushed microphones in his face and shouted questions. Everyone wanted to know his secret. Everyone wanted to understand how a farm boy from Kansas had become the greatest archer in the world. "What's your secret, Tommy?" a reporter asked. "How do you do it?" Tommy smiled. How could he explain? How could he tell them about the crashed ship in the cornfield? About the alien who had taught him more than just archery? About the summer that had changed everything? "I had a good teacher," Tommy said simply. "The best teacher anyone could ask for. Who was it? Where did you learn?" Tommy looked up at the sky, even though it was daytime and the stars were hidden by the sun. "He's not from around here," he said. "But he's watching. I know he's watching." That night, after the celebrations and the interviews and the phone calls from people he had not talked to in years, Tommy went outside alone. He was staying at a hotel in Los Angeles, but he found a quiet spot on the roof where he could see the sky. The stars were hard to see because of the city lights, but Tommy knew they were there. Millions of them. Billions of them. And somewhere among them was a planet with purple skies and singing trees, where an alien named Valen was living its life. Tommy held up his bow. The crystal was glowing brighter than usual tonight. Maybe it was his imagination. Maybe not. He drew an arrow from his quiver and knocked it to the string. It was a silly thing to do. Shooting an arrow at the sky would not accomplish anything. The arrow would just fall back down somewhere in the city. But Tommy did not care. He drew the string back. He closed his eyes. He thought about Valen. He thought about that scared little boy who had chosen to help instead of run. He thought about all the lessons he had learned, about breathing and focus and trust and love. "Thank you," Tommy whispered. "Thank you for everything." He released the arrow. It flew up into the darkness, higher and higher until he could not see it anymore. Tommy liked to imagine it kept going. He liked to imagine it flew past the moon and the planets, past the edge of the solar system, all the way to a world with purple skies. He liked to imagine Valen caught it and smiled. It was just a fantasy. Just a dream. But some dreams are worth holding on to. Tommy Parker, Olympic gold medalist, world record holder, the greatest archer of his generation, stood on the rooftop and looked at the stars. He was not just a champion. He was proof that kindness matters, that one small act of compassion can change a life forever, that humans, for all their flaws, are capable of extraordinary things. Somewhere in the universe, a friend was watching. And that was all Tommy needed to know. The crystal in his bow glowed softly in the night. The stars twinkled above. And in his heart, Tommy felt a warmth that would never fade. This was his legacy. Not the medals or the records. Not the fame or the glory. His legacy was a simple truth that Valen had taught him long ago. The size of a heart cannot be measured by the size of a body. And Tommy Parker had the biggest heart of all.